So today I'm going to answer all your questions that I've been getting. The other night on Instagram, I told you guys to comment on my photo with all the questions that you want answered. I got a lot of good ones. I read through them all, and seems like a lot of you are struggling with social anxiety and also, feeling accepted by friends or family. So I kind of categorized today into two parts. Since a lot of you are struggling with social anxiety, I'm going to go into that first, and then second, I'm going to go into being accepted by your peers and your family. So after reading all of them, seems like Cassie Lane from California, Karina Musquez from Texas, Alyssa Medina from Texas, Shannon Hooper from Texas, Tori from California, and Bridget from Texas, and a couple others, um, all seem to be suffering from social anxiety, whether it be meeting new people, talking in front of a crowd, or just talking to random people. Just anything that has to do with you putting yourself out there and talking or whatever. So, social anxiety. I feel that social anxiety, all it really is a fear of others' opinions. So, in other words, we're afraid of being ourselves around others because of what people will think about us. Maybe if I say the wrong thing, they're going to think I'm stupid or think I sound stupid, or, what if I make a fool of myself? Maybe they won't like me, or, you have to do some sort of presentation or talk in front of a crowd. Oh my God, what if I start panicking on stage? And what if I look stupid because I'm panicking on stage and, I blow it and everyone's going to think bad of me because of, what I look like or what I say or how I'm acting or whatever. So, once again, I think social anxiety is just us being afraid of other people's opinions towards us. And let me just say that, myself, I've had, somewhat of social anxiety here and there, um, for the same reasons. It's all about what people think about us. And the truth of it is we don't need to care about what other people think of us. It doesn't matter if some stranger that we've never even known before um, cares if we do something weird or different, or if we're being ourselves and they don't like it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because what matters is how we feel about ourselves. That's all that matters. Like I said in previous videos, we need to feel good from the inside out. And the big lie in the United States, where beauty is very popular and that's what people care about, is the lie is that our self-worth comes from other people's opinions. So in other words, the way people think about us, if they think we're cool or pretty, that's what bases our self-worth, which is just not true. Our self-worth comes from the inside out, and that's what matters. All right, so if you're in a situation where you're going to have to do some sort of presentation or talk to a new person, or you're trying to meet new friends or whatever, you know, go into that confident and be okay if you feel some anxiety. Like me, when I go out on stage every night, it's normal to feel anxious, even though I know I'm good at what I do and it is my job. I still get butterflies every night. And other nights I feel anxious just from my day or what I'm going through in life. And other days it's an excited anxious. It just depends. These things always happen. But I go out there and I do my best, and that's all we can do. Um, if you have anxiety meeting a new person, or you're on stage with anxiety, you just have to, believe in what you're doing and not stress too much about what others are going to think of you, because as soon as you start thinking and thinking, oh, what are they thinking about me, or oh, what are they going to think if I freak out with an anxiety attack right now, that stuff doesn't matter. If someone really wants to meet you, they'll enjoy you for you and who you are, and your new friends or people will accept you. And these are just things that you can think to yourself in a social situation. And there's no reason to have social anxiety. There really isn't. It's all we do it to ourselves. It's all stuff that we do in our head to almost psych ourselves out in a way. And what we're afraid of and what we don't want to do, we obsess about it. We end up doing in the midst of our social situation. So just work more on your confidence. The more self-worth we have, the more or less anxiety we have during social situations. So just be confident in yourself, and don't worry about others' opinions. Anyways, so I hope that helped a little bit on the social anxiety. What? My little dog here, Lily, wants to say hi. She's been bothering me. She wants her dad. Get down. Go play. Next is being accepted by our parents and our friends. Let's see. Erica Remington from Idaho, Samantha Lynn from Illinois, Sierra Jenk from Ohio, and Tia Deer from Minnesota. These are all people that are having trouble feeling accepted by their family for the way they dress, the way they look, and people wanting them to be different than what they want to be and how they feel inside. Now, I support you guys tremendously, because growing up, I was always different from the pack, and although I, never really had too many issues with people not wanting me to be how I was and dress the way I was and believe in the things that I did, I still, got some dirty looks constantly, and I still do. And people not really understanding what I'm doing, why I'm getting this tattoo, or why I want to do this, why I want to do that, why I want to look this way, That's something I dealt with, and I think just in the society in general, that's kind of what we have to deal with, because our parents and elder people or our friends, they weren't raised, the way we were, and, they never got into the things that we did, like makeup and, dark clothes and tattoos and piercings and, just a lot of the things that we are into. So they don't really understand, and I feel like their negativity towards what we believe in and what we're into is just a lack of understanding on their part, and they just don't understand. They don't get it. It's just like us not understanding why someone would do some of the things that they do. It's foreign to us. So I think if your family and your parents especially are not accepting you for who you are, not supporting you in all aspects of your life, whether it's your school, the way you look, the way you dress, and your possible career wants and what you want to do for your future. If your parents aren't supporting you in all aspects of your life, I feel that that's not good of the parents to do. I feel as your parents, they should be supporting you in everything you do and uplifting you and being positive to help you get through these, rough times of your life, whether you're a teenager or, newly into your 20s and trying to figure out what you're doing. I feel that they should be supporting you in that so that you can grow and achieve your dreams and goals as a person. I don't feel that parents should try to change you and try to say, hey, you don't look good, or hey, you you shouldn't be doing this with your life. Especially at such a creative age, like a lot of you guys are, and you're in your teens and you're exploring and you're extreme about what you like to do, and they should be supporting you in that. Luckily enough, I always had um, really supportive parents who um, never really questioned what I was doing. If I got like a new tattoo or something, they'd be like, "Oh my God, what are you doing?" But I never really cared. But if I dyed my hair, had a mohawk, or dressed the way I did, they were just like, "Okay, our son's a musician. He's been playing drums since he was a little boy. He's probably going to be a little different than everybody else." But like I was saying, they should be supporting you and believe in what you do. Even if your parents, your friends, whoever isn't really liking what you're doing, still do it because you like to do it. I got to where I am today because I didn't listen to anybody and I was believing in what I was doing. Uh, Getting tattooed all over my body, looking the way I do. I knew what I wanted to do and I did it, and I didn't care what anyone said. I didn't care what my parents said. I didn't care what my family said or my friends, whatever. I knew what I wanted to do and I did it. And that's what you guys need to do too. You need to really just believe in what you do and continue to do it. Do you like the way you look? Yeah, that's why you dress that way. Do you like the music you listen to? Of course, you made the choice to listen to it. Not everyone's going to understand the screaming music. Even today, I'm almost 24 years old. People still, what's with the screaming music? I can't understand it. Or, do you know what you're going to look like when you're 60 with all those tattoos? It's like, yeah, I do. I'm going to look rad because a lot of old people with tattoos look way better than people with no tattoos. So, people who are so concerned about what you're doing, obviously they have some issue in themselves. And maybe they're just bored with their own image. You never know. All you can do is say, hey, I care about you, you're my family, but, this is what I want to do, and I think that you should support me, because that's what I need from my family and my friends, no matter how I look, it's just how it should be, in my opinion. So don't let it get you down. Keep doing what you want. Like I said, they're your parents, they're your friends. They love you no matter what, and if their mind doesn't change towards the way you look and stuff, maybe it never will. So all you can really do is accept that and try to get on some common ground and still have a happy life and be happy with yourself mostly. I talk a lot about that. I really feel believing in what you do and being happy in yourself is really key to success. And let's see, we're at 13 minutes, so I'm going to go into that a little bit actually. um, Another, group of questions that I got was how do I pursue my dream, and how do I become successful, and how did you get your job, and all that. Well, like I said in another video, I was fortunate enough to be able to learn that I wanted to do drums and music, and some of my other passions like reptiles, snakes. I had all these passions at a really young age, so I was able to live my life with those passions, and pursue them. A lot of the people that I know, a lot of the people that I've talked to, they don't have those passions for things, They don't really have a passion for anything. They like to do things, but they don't have a passion for it or a talent for it. So what do? For that group of people, I always say figure out what you like to do. what do you really, really enjoy doing? What really makes you happy? And it could be anything, it could be baking, or, working with your hands, building things. It could be anything. And, whatever makes you happy, really think about it. Whatever makes you happy, that's what you should do. Now, for the people that have passions and talents, and that were born with these things, I feel that's what you should do, because you were given these talents for a reason, and you're given these passions for a reason, and that's to work with these, for your job and for your life. Not saying you have to, but it's always good to do what you're good at and get paid for it. So when it comes to achieving your dreams, really figure out what your passions are, and figure out what you like to do and go for it. Like for me, how I got my job as a drummer in Motionless in White at the moment was, I've been playing since I was a little kid, playing in bands and shows since I was like 10, and basically just started joining new bands. When I was young, I was always playing with older people, so, I started getting good because of their talent. It caused me to raise the bar with my playing, and get better as a musician. So by the time I was 15, 16, I was really good at drums, and then I just kept joining other bands. I joined The Which Was Right, which, exposed me to a broad spectrum of new people, and then we went on tour with Motionless, and then I started talking with those dudes because they're awesome, and then, with Angela leaving, I got the spot. So a lot of it is being at the right place at the right time with the right opportunity. But if you look back at my whole career, it's been me grinding and me practicing and playing and never stop playing and being noticed by people and knowing the right people, and to finally getting into something that is pretty substantial. And that's why I say figure out what you want to do and do it, pursue it. Do every sort of thing that you can do in every way to get bigger and better. So anyways, more videos to come. Today's video, I really wanted to answer all the questions. I love all the support. Keep commenting, keep the questions coming, because every video I'm gonna answer questions. This is about you guys. I do this for you guys. This is not for me. The only thing in this for me is it helps me with my own issues. So keep the questions coming. Let's keep this going. I want to know more stuff. I have plenty more topics to come, and I want to continue to help you guys. That's the point of these. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you for submitting your questions, and we'll talk to you soon.